Welcome to Outsider Gaming. You're here with Paul. I'm a content writer for the website, and I am so lucky today to be joined by the wonderful Ravy. If you don't know who she is, there she is. Hello, Ravy. To put it kind of in really short, she does everything. She is a content maker. She is a Twitch streamer. She is a designer. She's into glitter, I believe. We might talk about that. Definitely into dogs, a dog expert, and loves all things gaming just as we do. So, hello, Ravi. Nice to meet you.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to finally catch up. For the people out there, I know loads about you because I've been stalking you for the last couple of weeks on all your kind of socials. And yeah,
I'm so sorry. I'm
creepy
so
stuff.
sorry.
But one thing that kind of stuck out that I noticed, and something that you might want to kind of cover with us today, if you can, Mazer Gaming. You're involved kind of with support and content support for Mazer Gaming. So, can you tell me a bit about kind of what you do for them, or even what is Mazer Gaming, if you can?
So Mazer Gaming is there. So what drew me to Mazer is they are an esports organization, but they didn't want to just support people who are creating content around esports. They also wanted to support content creators who just love gaming and love making content. And so it's nice that we're kind of a family in that way. So we can kind of lean on each other to help in different ways. Sometimes the esports know a little bit more about, the esports guys will know more about like networking and going to events and how to make those kinds of things happen. Whereas content creators might know more about the technical side of things. Like we can spend hours making videos and doing editing graphics and doing things like that, where the esports guys need to be playing the game and repetitively and doing their thing. So it's nice to have kind of like this symbiotic relationship that we have. I like that it's marrying like a love of gaming and competition, and it kind of brings both of those sides together. And I think that that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, like it's not something that they'd have a skill in or a focus on because they're there to play the games and compete. Yeah,
Exactly. And so it's cool to get to have like a little team of us that we're kind of their cheerleaders. I feel like us content creators are the cheerleaders for the esports team, and then the esports team are like our buddies that come to us for maybe advice on technical stuff. We're on the streaming side of things or that kind of stuff to help support them doing their esports stream. So it's a really cool little community that we have going on, and I love a lot of the charity work and stuff that they do, and that's what's kept me around these last couple of years. I've been with Mazer for a few years now. I think maybe even almost 3 years now.
Yeah, I can see even from the website there's a kind of growing team behind them, which is fantastic to see. You mentioned streaming, so I mean we know you have your own Twitch channel as well. You're a Twitch streamer, you're a voiceover actress. I know you, as we mentioned, you have your own kind of design. You do your dice stuff as well.
Yes.
I mean,
I tell everyone I'm a jack of all trades, but a master of none. That is
no. I mean, I would say a finger in all pies, I suppose, is kind of the term
a little
we'd
bit.
say.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Yes.
But how do you find the time for all that? Because that's a lot. No.
I would love someone to give me that answer. I don't. That's the problem. That's usually the problem. I feel like I'm interested in so many different things, which is really exciting, but it's kind of like comparing it to loving a lot of games, right? You love a lot of games. Sometimes you get really addicted to one, so you focus on that one for a while, and then the other ones kind of sit to the side, and then maybe that one gets a little stale, so you refocus to something else. That is kind of how my life is, I feel. So my main passion is voiceover. I love voiceover acting more than anything in the world. I got into streaming because of voiceover, because I want to be a voice in video games. Video games have been a part of my life as long as I can remember. As back to being a wee small child playing like an Alice in Wonderland, like typing game on a computer in like 92 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, it's been such a huge part of my life. And I love how voice actors have been able to make me feel through gaming. And so I realized as someone who's been a performer, I've been a performer my entire life. Once I realized that was like a passion, I was like, oh, I need to go for this. And so I kind of tried streaming because my cousin was always telling me, oh my gosh, you play games all the time, you should just be a streamer. And I was like, no one's going to want to watch me play video games. Like no one's going to want to do that. And he was like, well, you could make connections with brands and developers and stuff like that, and maybe get work. My passion is indie games, so I really want to do voices for indie games.
Yeah.
And he was like, that would be a great way for you to get your foot in the door. And he kind of talked me into it. And then literally, I mean, the first week I was hooked. I was like, this is so fun. I was like, this is so cool. You mean people are just going to come in and we're going to hang out and play games together and like talk about games? Like, all right, this is amazing. Like, but
Yeah.
voiceover is definitely the passion that kind of led to all the rest of this.
It's where it started.
So,
yeah.
That's where it started. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I guess gaming's where it started, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like streaming, I suppose you're kind of building your online presence anyway, and you're building a fan club, and you're getting out there. You're getting out on social media and stuff, promoting yourself, I suppose. So I mean, like streaming seems to have taken off like crazy. As you said, you couldn't have imagined, and I was the same. Like, I think I remember watching PewDiePie years ago, and I realized then there's something there. I could watch this guy for hours, and it just seemed to take off. There are loads of people probably wanting to be the next big streamer, be the next PewDiePie, or be whoever. What kind of advice would you give someone just starting out, say, on Twitch, for example, as a streamer?
I think it's important for new streamers to manage manage your expectations, but also the big question that I ask anybody who wants advice and they're new to streaming is always, why are you streaming? Why? And I think it's an important question to ask. And so many people just are like, oh, well, I just want to build a community and hang out with my friends. I'm like, okay, well, there's a lot of great communities out there and there's a lot of places that you could go and meet friends. So why do you want to build your own? What do you think is missing that you want to build? And sometimes I feel like I just keep prodding until they're like, well, I mean, really, it's just that like, I want to make just enough money that like it can pay for my game habit. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a good place to get to. You don't have to be the next ninja. You don't have to be. You can be if you're entertaining and you love being on camera and you find people that love watching what you're doing and you get enough subscribers, that might pay for your game habit every month. And if that's what you want, then look at you're successful. And I think that that's like an important thing. The other side of it that I'm always like big on my friends about and new streamers is that you need to set boundaries for yourself and you need to learn how to enforce those boundaries. If you're going to be running a community, you need to early on say what's okay in your community and decide what's not, and then figure out how you're going to tell people that and how you're going to enforce it and what the steps are for enforcing it. Because in the beginning, I know like I was really loose about some of the things that I'm stricter about now, and it hurt me. Right. Because people, when you go back on something or you let something slide for a while and then you're like, hey, like, that's not cool, man. Like, let's not do that. People get really angry and it can be really hard on your mental health. And it's important to protect your space and protect yourself. So you need to decide like what's important to me, that a way that someone can't talk to me maybe, or something that someone can make fun of that's okay, but maybe this isn't. And you need to set those boundaries, even little things like self-promotion and stuff like that on your channel. Like it's important to set those boundaries and know what you're comfortable with. It is okay to change your mind later, something you thought you were okay with. And now you're like, and I'm not okay with that. But I think setting those boundaries are really important. In the beginning, people are just so excited to have anyone watching that they'll let people get away with anything. And it's like, that's not the best way to build your community. Like, I promise you, the right people will show up if you don't allow the wrong people to stay. So, and that's kind of what I tell people.
It's not just about having those, oh, well, I have 3 extra people, even though they're toxic or whatever. It's like, well, I've got extra followers. No. Absolutely.
Exactly. You need to build your community in a way that's organic and real, with people that you would actually want to spend time with people that you actually like to talk to, not keeping people around just for their views or for their money either.
No, absolutely. For me, like I could never be a streamer. I just couldn't. When I play a game, I'm in the zone. It's my kind of, end of day de-stress. But I'm completely antisocial. I can't talk or do whatever. How do you kind of multitask? Because you're playing a game, but and I think you've kind of nearly answered. You're not really. You're more focused on your chat and on your people and on the conversations going on there. But how do you fill that air? Like, you fill that space, and you do it very well, by the way. You absolutely do.
Oh, thank you. There's a few little tricks of the trade, of course, but I think the main thing is, I don't know. I think it's different for every streamer. I really do. I think you have to kind of find what your balance is, because there are people who are more competitive and who do really focus on the game, and their chat kind of knows they're talking amongst themselves while the person's actually in lobby or in scene or in whatever. And in those moments, they're just talking to their chat about what they're doing, about what's going on in their brain. And that's kind of the interaction. Then when the match is over, they take a minute to like read people's reactions and talk about it that way.
Yeah.
For me, I like to read stuff in more real time. Not that I don't play games that that do involve me having to be focused for a minute. I do try to find even games like that that have little moments of lulls, whether it's between lobbies or something that I can do without having to look at my screen, that I can glance at my chat quick. I prioritize chat like most of the time, but I'm also not like a top tier competitive gamer.
Gotcha.
So it definitely makes a difference. I try to choose games that allow me to read my chat. One of my little tricks, though, I will just say is sometimes for those of you who struggle with it, I know some people have a hard time and they need to read each line. Finish your thought with one person, even if it means skipping a couple comments to finish like your response to them and their response, and then go back and talk to the other person. That way conversations feel like whole moments instead of going back and forth between talking to this person about what they're doing in this game and this person about their dog. And, you know, to be able to finish that thought with that person and then go to the thought with the other person.
Yeah,
That
so
helps.
you're not jumping back and forth and one line answer for that, one line answer for that. Yeah, it's just it's not so much a story then for people. And then obviously the choice of game then for you, that's quite important then. Is it like will you always kind of go like kind of low level casual, or like what's your go-to? What do you enjoy?
I like multiplayer games. I love to play games with my friends. I do stream a lot of solo stuff just because it does work for like that cozy setting to just kind of sit back and talk and discuss with everyone. I'm definitely like an entertainer performer first when I'm streaming, and my game is secondary most of the time. I like to do a lot of little indie games as well. We do a lot of demoing and a lot of looking at smaller games, but I think I kind of split my time. My community okay, I'm going to show you the spelling of this so nobody gets any ideas. My community calls my content wholesome because it's horror or wholesome. I'm either like screaming my face off in a horror game, playing Phasmophobia or Dead by Daylight or Labyrinthine. I mean, there's lots of like horror games that I love, or we're doing something cozy and cute like Pokemon or Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, something in that realm as well. I'm super addicted right now to Disney Dreamlight Valley. That's kind of like my current like hyper focus. But like you said, gaming for you is a de-stress. Well, it is for me too. When I'm de-stressing at the end of the day, I'm often playing something like Apex or Call of Duty. Those aren't games that I stream because they're too focused and they involve my focus too much. Yeah. And not about talking to my chat. So it is kind of funny that Ravy, while I do play Disney Dreamlight Valley and Dead by Daylight and stuff off stream too, I have lots of games that people have never even seen me play that I play a lot for de-stress that for me aren't good streaming games. Like I just don't stream them.
Yeah. Speaking of Dreamlight Valley, I am completely hooked. Well, I've gotten to the point where I'm nearly off it now. Yeah, thankfully. But I keep going back.
But there's an update coming.
You see, that's it. Anytime they do an update, I'm straight back in, and I'm grinding that star pad. I'm loving every second of it. Like it was sneaky because I thought, oh, it's on Game Pass. You know, it's not going to cost me anything. I've two little ones that love Disney. I was like, I'll sit with them and I'll give it a bash and we'll see what it's like. And after they're gone to bed, I'm still playing. It's like, yeah, I need to, go to Scrooge's shop, see what's new. And I have an everyday routine, and I have to plant my pumpkins. I have to make sure.
Yeah,
and I've got to
make that pumpkin money.
I've got millions, but I'm still I still have to keep.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
But
I love that. Yeah, I've actually been. I love that game so much. I'm a huge Disney adult. Like I'm like a psychopath. Like it's stupid. I have like Disney pins. I used to be an annual pass holder with Disneyland. I got engaged at Disney World, and my husband and I renewed our vows at Disney World. Nice. I mean, like obsessive Disney person. So this game was like everything I could have ever wanted. And so I've been actually pushing for them to make me an official creator for the game, and I've been asking them every day on Twitter. Yeah,
is that going anywhere yet? Have they responded?
They have seen the tweets. They have commented on a couple of them or liked a couple of them. So and every time they do, I'm just like, I'm like, they're here.
Drop everything.
Drop everything. So we'll see. They have a really awesome creator team that I've already gotten to meet some of them, and they're really cool. So I'm hopeful. We'll see. We're in day we're after 50 already. So we'll see.
I mean, technically it hasn't officially launched. It's still early access, isn't it?
It
So I
is.
mean,
It is still in early access.
like they're obviously still milling over ideas. You just keep giving them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Uh, a similar game, and you mentioned it earlier, Animal Crossing. So, what's your favorite? Is it on the Switch, or is it going back to kind of earlier versions of it, or which one is your go-to that you'd play more often?
Well, I mean, I have to say, Celeste is the best.
Okay.
She is the best. I actually have an Animal Crossing tattoo on my shoulder blade that my
Okay.
community picked for me, and it's
Nice.
still got Celeste on it. It is Animal Crossing New Horizons for me 100%. I worked in gaming for a while, and I always kind of saw the Animal Crossing games. I thought they weren't for me. Younger Ravy, pre-streaming Ravy, was a first-person shooter girl. I played all the CODs. I was a hardcore Destiny player. I played, Gears of War, Grand Theft Auto. Though I didn't really do cozy games. There were a few that I really got addicted to and I loved. I was a big Plants vs. Zombies fan back in the day. That was my go-to like cozy game.
Yeah.
I guess it's zombies, but it was my cozy game. So when the pandemic and everything hit and Animal Crossing came out, the new Animal Crossing, I had played New Leaf a little bit with my cousin when I was younger and stuff, but I had never gotten super hooked.
Yeah.
And when I say that Animal Crossing saved my life, I'm not joking. Like there was something about, and I think we all kind of felt it. The energy for this one was different just because of when it came out. Here was something that had a structure in it.
Yeah.
For a bunch of people who just lost all their structure.
Yeah.
Right?
It
It had
gave you a day-to-day kind of,
It
things
It
to
did.
do. Yeah.
I had my routine of getting up and checking the shop and going, to this place and watering my flowers and talking to each of my villagers and bringing them each gifts. And then maybe I'd go to my friend's island and bring them something that I found in my shop or whatever. And that routine, I feel, was just so positive. Everything about it was happy. Everything about it was exciting. My friends and I would have, and people in my community, we would have like birthday parties on our islands for each other and stuff, and like throw parties. That kind of interaction and that ability to do that, or even just the ability to digitally send a gift to your friend where they were going to wake up in the morning depressed, from being inside their house for 3 weeks and opened up their little thing and have like a new little couch to look at that they had been looking at. It was so wholesome and so wonderful. And I met so many of my favorite streamers during that time. Some of my closest like friends in the community I met because of Animal Crossing. Most of my closest community members we met because of Animal Crossing. I'm so grateful to that game because of what it gave all of us, So Animal Crossing New Horizons will be in my heart and soul and love for until the day I die.
Yeah. I think the timing was perfect. It was everyone had loads of time on their hands all of a sudden, and it just came out right smack bang when we needed it. Yeah, really, really
it
good
did
game.
right when we needed it.
Yeah,
and we needed something cute. We needed something sweet where we weren't yelling at each other and shouting and dealing with toxic stuff. Where it was just literally sending your friends like presents, going over to your friend's house and bringing them a flower and planting it in front of their house. Like it was so. It was just lovely,
I mean, you could
it
still
really
be
was.
mean. You just had to be creative
Yes.
about being mean.
There
But no, you're
were,
right.
of course, situations of people being mean, but most of the time it was just wholesome. And then even if someone was mean, the rest of the community would be like, oh my gosh, my friend's flowers just got trampled. And everyone would show up in droves to like bring them bells and bring them flowers. And, it was just such a wonderful community. I can't wait for the next game. I really can't. I will like goodbye world. Like I'll just be lost in Animal Crossing.
It'll be the Switch 2, I think, before we see a new one, but who knows? Could be soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So completely switching from the wholesome and the cute and the lovely, we'll go on about some of your wholesome games. Like Dead by Daylight, I'm familiar with. I've played a little bit of. I was more probably Friday the 13th, I think, than Dead by Daylight. But how you and I don't know how you streamed them, to be honest. But yeah, do you get a kick out of just getting the daylight scared out of you, or obviously your community does anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone, I mean, I need to talk to somebody about it because I definitely think some years have been taken off my life because I also use I'm a partner with Streamloots, which is a wonderful organization. I'm an affiliate with Dixper as well. And so I have lots of ways for my community to just, as I'm in the middle of something intense, to send something scary to the screen. So I have screamed so loud, I've blown my vocal cords out. I have, there have been moments where I'm just sitting there like my brain cells are dead, because I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that one. And I do enjoy horror. I do enjoy that thrilling feeling of horror. It makes me giggle. It makes me giggly and stuff. I am a little picky with my horror. I don't there's some horror I don't like, but for the most part, yeah, I do. I just love it. My husband thinks I'm a freak. He does. He's like, what is wrong with you? He can't even be in the room when I'm watching a horror movie. He has to be someplace else. And he's a Marine. He runs into bullets for work.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
real
like,
scary.
oh, but there's a ghost on the screen. He's like, nope, I'm out. Nope, later.
Yeah.
He can't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
I
Yeah.
quite like horror now. Not playing games as much as just watching films and stuff. But I am thinking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming really soon. I think I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube. Yeah, it looks like a kind of faster version of Friday the 13th with more things to do, lots of. It looks
and there's multiple
complicated,
killers.
Yeah.
I've
So
been
you can
watching
play a
some of my
team of
friends.
killers against a team of survivors. Yeah. It looks interesting.
I've been watching some of my friends play it, and I think that it looks really, really good. I didn't get into the test as I just haven't had time, but I do really like it. I think it's going to be something I'm going to be super into. I really do. And not only that it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but just that style. I love multiplayer. I love that kind of working with your friends against someone. I think it'll be a good time. I think August 18th actually. I think it's its official launch date.
So can we expect to see you playing that one? Streaming, hopefully?
I think so. Yeah, hopefully. I'm very much looking forward to that one. It's right up my alley with games like Dead by Daylight and whatnot. It's actually funny you keep mentioning Friday the 13th. So I worked for GameStop when Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th came out in the same week. And my friends were they came out the same week. They kind of competed with each other.
Yeah.
And they were like, I told my friends, I was like, I'm only buying one. Which one do y'all want to play? And they were like, well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the idea of Dead by Daylight, but I think that Friday the 13th is going to be the bigger game. And so I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to get? And they were like, well, yeah, I get Friday the 13th. Yeah, we're not going to play Dead by Daylight. So I get Friday the 13th. We go to play it the next day. They're like, yeah, so we've been all bought Dead by Daylight and have been playing Dead by Daylight, and
That's
we
really
actually
good.
like it way better than Friday the 13th. And I was like, are you kidding me? And so I was like, no, I'm not getting this other game. You said you wanted to play Friday the 13th, and so they ended up gifting me Dead by Daylight so that I could play it with them. And now 7 years later, I'm still playing the stinking game. So
it's the successor, to be honest. It's still getting updates. It's still getting new. I think Nicolas Cage is coming into it soon, isn't that right? Which is weird, but yeah, should be fun.
Weird. It's very weird, but
we don't know if he's a killer or a survivor. It's
we don't. I'm actually kind of hoping he's a killer. I'm really hoping he's a killer. Yeah.
Should be good.
I think it's cool though. Some people are like, oh my gosh, Nick Cage and all this stuff. I think the game is at its point now that it should start doing some ridiculous stuff, because I feel like there's a lot I could say about Dead by Daylight, but just how the game, they didn't think the game was going to be what it is, right? They didn't expect it to have this life and for it to take off like this. And so when the devs built the foundation of the game, they kind of built it with some bad cracks, or we'll even say some safes that they kind of can't lock into to fix some of the problems the game has. So they'll have to make a whole new game eventually, to give us something different. And that's kind of exciting, but also kind of scary when we've put all so much money and time into this game. But we know a Dead by Daylight 2 has to come at some point, right? So I'm hoping that it's kind of soon, like in the next year or so, and then they're going to give us these kind of fun, silly things for now, and then also eventually, maybe put some of that fun, silly stuff into the new game too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
It should be fun. Hopefully we hear news about it soon. So I know you've done a lot of different things. I know you've been streaming a lot lately, but I know also you've got a project that you can't really tell me a lot about, but can you tell me something about it that you're working on at the minute?
So I am really passionate about a voiceover project that I've gotten to be a part of over the last year, which is the Night Shift podcast, which you can listen to anywhere that you listen to podcasts, on Spotify or Apple Music. It's a fantasy audio drama with magic and all kinds of awesome stuff. I'm really passionate about the project, not just because it's good, not just because everyone that I've had listen to it has been like, oh my gosh, I never even thought I could listen to something like this. And now I'm like completely addicted. I'm getting like texts from friends like, oh my God, what about this? I'm like, well, what episode are you on? I'm like, oh, keep listening, you know?
Yeah.
But because the team is just so amazing, the writers are all just absolutely an incredible group of people. It's such a diverse group of people. It is so LGBTQIA positive. All of our characters who are queer are voiced by queer voiceover actors. It is just such a joy to be part of something so joyful and being done by such an incredible group of people. So I voice Dagger, who is a kind of sociopath, and so that's a lot of fun. As well, she has tattoos all over her body that she can bring to life with magic, which is pretty freaking cool for a criminal.
Wow.
To just be able to pull a knife out of your skin.
That's handy.
It's pretty handy. Yeah, it's pretty handy. I kind of wish I could do that. Like, that's pretty cool. But we actually got funded for a second season after winning an audio award in the UK for season 1. Our lead writer, Julian, he is based in the UK, and so actually got funding for a full season 2. It's in development right now. They are working on it, writing it, and getting everything set, and should be getting scripts and things out to the actors here very, very soon. And we're going to be starting season 2. So I'm very excited to be back doing the thing that I love the most, which is voiceover, but also on such an incredible project with just such, seriously, like, I know everyone says that I love everyone I work. I love everyone I work with. They're absolutely, I'm honored to be among their friends and colleagues. Like, they're incredible, truly.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly successful. The green light for season 2 is amazing. I mean, that's brilliant stuff. So it's
we just hit everywhere. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can listen to it. And we just hit 100,000 downloads.
Wow.
So woo.
Very good. Amazing. Well done. Yeah, sounds brilliant. So you can't tell us anymore, even no little hints for season 2, no?
No little hints for season 2, honestly, because I don't have a script yet.
Okay.
So they keep us in the dark as much as anyone else. And even when I get my scripts, I feel like Tom Holland sometimes, because like, it's like they only send me my lines. So my lines and the scene, the lines of people around me, so I know how to react to them, right? But I had, for the very last episode of the season, I had a very intense couple of scenes in the very last episode, and I didn't know what happened at the end for like 2 months until it aired. And I'm just sitting around like, and my mom is asking me questions about like, well, I think this is going to happen. And I think this is going to happen. I'm like, I can't talk. I plead the fifth. Like, I have a non-disclosure agreement. Stop talking to me. And because I know this massive thing is going to happen, but then I also, even though I had all this information, I also didn't, like, because I didn't know how it was going to end after all of my scenes.
Picture.
So I was like, oh, torture. Torture.
Well, I'll definitely be tuning in, and I'll definitely listen to season 1. Sounds amazing. Sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it is. If you like sci-fi fantasy stuff, like, yeah, you'll like it.
You had me sold at pulling tattoos out. I mean, that's you could have your Animal Crossing buddies, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of good things and happiness and happy moments, going back to gaming, do you have one? And it's quite cheesy, but you've got one in particular, one moment you can remember from gaming that's maybe your happiest, or not?
Oh man, I feel like I'm so blessed. I feel like I have a lot of personal, really happy moments. Okay, I'll give you a cheesy one, and I'll give you a nerdy one. My community is incredible, and I know everyone says that, but I love them. They are my ride or dies, and they it was last year. I like to, when I do charity events, I like to raise money for like a local organization where we can really see the impact. I love the huge organizations that people support. There's so many great ones out there, but as community leaders, we can't support every single one, right? Like, we all don't have unlimited funds. I wish, and so I like to do, and we love dogs, like you mentioned, in our community. So I like to support like a local dog shelter. And I had a goal to raise $1,000 for this organization where I was living at the time in Louisiana. And they were really having a hard time making it like month to month to take care of their like 50 animals they had at a time, or often they were 5 over their limit and stuff. And I was like, if we could just raise $1,000 for them, that would be so impactful.
Yeah.
We raised over $2,000 for them in a 12-hour stream. And it literally paid for the food of every animal in that shelter for an entire month.
Brilliant.
And like, so that was like the way to think about like, and I got to go to the shelter and like see the dogs and see them get their food. And like, it was just so amazing to know that like that relief and that stress was taken off of those people, that they could focus money in other ways and medicine and things that they needed. To know that every single one of those animals was paid for by my community was like
that's a good
blew
feeling.
my mind.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. And then cheesy nerdy thing. I was at a back when I worked for GameStop, I would go to these E3 events for Microsoft, and I was always a big Microsoft nerd before I gave my soul to the PC. And Gears of War is like my all-time, favorite game series ever. And while I was there, that it was the Gears of War, like the revamp that came out, and there was people there talking about it. And some guy from Forza like came over and was talking to the Gears guys, and I overheard him talking about how he had worked art direction for the original Gears, the original 3. And I'm just like, fangirl. Like, and so I literally stalked this man. Because I was by myself at the event. I just like had a ticket. So I went, because why wouldn't I, and I just like stalk him back over to the Forza area. And I'm like, hi, I'm sorry, I'm stalking you. I heard you just say to them that you worked on Gears 1 through 3. And he's like, oh yeah, like I was one of the art directors for the original 3. And so we just stood and just talked about Gears of War, and he told me like different plans that he'd had for different character deaths and things like that. That was one of the coolest, most joyful. I was like a little kid seeing their hero, like talking and just getting to hear their perspective. I mean, game devs are it's just so creative. I love seeing behind the scenes and how their brains work and how they came up with different things. And that was an amazing, amazing moment for me.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think anyone could top that, and that sounds amazing. Brilliant. Brilliant. So taking from happy to rage.
Oh God.
so even I thought about this before asking. I was thinking, like, what moments did I just completely rage quit? And I only really have 2, and really there's only one. Because the first thing that jumped out at me was Elden Ring, and I was obsessed.
Oh.
Got sucked
well,
in.
You did that to yourself.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It wasn't actually like that bad. It wasn't a rage quit, but towards the end, it was, like the last 2 bosses, just insane. But it wasn't like a rage quit. It was more out. I can't do this. I'm nearly getting there, and it's just, if I made a little mistake there. So you felt like you were making progress, which is why that game is so good. It's why it's so special. But yeah, so not really rage quit, because it was a case of walk away, come back again, and get it done. My only real rage quit, and this still haunts me, is Mad Max. I don't know if you played Mad Max. It's kind of
underrated. I did play Mad Max.
Really good game.
It's an excellent game.
Yeah, I'd say I'd done almost all the side missions. I'd done almost everything in the game. Went to the last mission.
Excellent game.
Yeah, and then the last mission is driving, which I was okay at, because you take out convoys and stuff during the game. It's fine, but that last mission was just painful. Like, I just could not do it. It's like it was a different game all of a sudden. It was a complete, and you were locked into it. And I like 20 goals destroyed, and I was like, no, I'll walk away. I'll come back. I'll do it. I'll go calm. I'll come back. I'll do it a different day. And I'd say I had that same conversation with myself 3 or 4 times, did it 3 or 4 times. And no, I literally had to just give up. I've never seen the end of that game. And now I don't want to.
I'm that way with I'm exactly where you are with that, with Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb. I tried to beat that final boss like on stream, on 2 different streams.
I'm playing that now, and it's so much fun.
And I don't think it's that hard. I think it's me. So I'm really not good
I'm
at
very
games.
early on.
Okay. I'm blind in my right eye, and I've always had like a hard time with like anything. If there's too much stuff happening on the screen,
Yeah.
I have a heart, which is why I was always a first person shooter gamer, right? Because everything is right in front of me and this is what I need to focus on.
Yeah.
If I'm top down or something, I will be like, I'll be hitting my teammates. I'm just like, not even, I can't tell.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that that's part of it. It's just, I'm just not good at games like that as much as I am like a first person.
Yeah.
So yes, I haven't rage quit. I've inner rage walked away. Like, I've just been like, okay, so y'all, that was fun. We're going to go play some Disney and I'm going to calm down. They're like, what? You're not going to go? Like, no,
Love
I'm
it.
done.
Love
I
it.
was like, 10 times was enough tries. And now we're going to go play something else because I don't want to rage quit. I have absolutely rage quit before. I rage over people being toxic. I don't
Okay.
rage over games. I rage over people being toxic in games. So I was a big COD player, back in the day, which meant I pretty much couldn't talk because I don't know if you know much about women playing Call of Duty, but it's not great for us often.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff on the mics is just disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah. So I often either had to be in a private chat with friends and just not talk to other teammates or whatever. But those few times that I thought, oh, these guys seem cool. Like,
little did you
hey
know,
guys, I'm rushing Bravo, and there's like, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just killing my teammates now. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm throwing the game now. So those are probably some of the only times I've ever really rage quit. I will say, when I worked for GameStop, though, when people would come in to purchase like Dark Souls, I am not lying when I would just upsell them an extra controller. Because I would be like, hey,
you're going to smash this against the wall.
I was like, you're going to throw your controller against the wall playing this game, right? So you want to buy this, you have a backup now, so you can just plug it in and not have to come back here. Or, and they would just, and some of them would be like, no, ha, 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 ha. And some of them would be like, you know what?
That's
thinking ahead.
That's
and they would buy it.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Brilliant. I've got just one last thing before we finish off. I just want to say to anyone watching or listening or wherever you're getting this information, or if you're on the Outsider Gaming website or if you're on YouTube, just if you like the content, please hit like and subscribe. If you don't, shame on you. But, tell us why. Leave us a comment. Let us know what we're doing good, what we're not doing great. And just the last thing I want to say, Ravi, is where can people see you and get you, and what have you got going on right now?
I am either Ravynia or Ravynia Gaming, pretty much on all of the different socials, especially on TikTok. You can find me at Ravynia Gaming. If you want to check out my custom made dice for Dungeons and Dragons, you can check that out on Ko-fi at Natty20. That's Nattie 20, just like the number spelled out, to check out some custom handmade dice.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much for today. It was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Let's do it again soon.
Yeah, sounds good.